The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. This is your COVID-19 local update. I'm Deborah Hutchison in the Rogers TV studio. Joining us today is Oshawa Mayor Dan Carter. Mayor, thanks for spending some time with us again today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deb, for the opportunity to join you and your viewers at Rogers Television. First and foremost, I hope you and your family and your team are doing well.
We are. Let's talk about COVID-19. It's been a while since we moved into phase 3. From your standpoint, how are businesses doing now that they've been allowed to reopen their doors?
Well, first and foremost, I have to say that I really applaud our citizens and our residents in the great city of Oshawa. They've been absolutely wonderful in regards to making sure that we wear masks in the public, make sure that they're washing their hands, social distancing is happening. Our team has been out there and people are really respecting, the group size. So the community itself has to be congratulated because COVID-19 has really tested all of us in a lot of different ways. We're not built for this to be separated and not be able to hug people or have handshakes or kiss people. So it's been a trying time for our community, but they've done a fantastic job. So that's the first thing that I want to recognize. And number two is the Mayor's Economic Recovery Task Force has been working with businesses for about 2 months now to be able to get us ready to go into stage 3. But we're in the early stages still. We're still trying to figure out what else needs to be done. But what we're working on now, Deb, and what we're hearing across the country and what I've witnessed even in our faith communities is it is the hesitancy of individuals going into public spaces, even into our shopping centers, into our churches, our places of worship, or even into movie theaters, all those kind of things. People are still very hesitant. So it's going to take a little bit of time for people to get back to some type of new normal and get comfortable with being in public spaces. But I'm really pleased about the work we've done at the Recovery Task Force. I'm really pleased about how businesses reacted. But this recovery is going to be 24 months long. It's not going to happen over a 2 or 3 week period.
Do you find that businesses perhaps that have storefronts rather than those that are in malls are benefiting a little more, that people are less hesitant perhaps to go in there?
You know what? I'm a little biased on this because I would love for our downtowns, those storefronts, to really thrive and survive and do some incredible things. And a lot of those businesses are family-run businesses that have put everything on the line to be able to live their dream of owning their own business. So one is I love smaller stores because of the reason that you get that personalized service. It also is they've been able to kind of really adjust to make sure the flow of people going in and out of their stores has been well controlled, and also the curbside pickup, and that works really well. That being said, I've been over to the Oshawa Center. They're doing a good job in regards to making sure that all of the guidelines are being followed and people are being respectful. The bottom line is we need every element of our economy to be working in full steam or in a recovery phase to really be able to benefit. So I'm trying to make sure that we support all businesses. But here's what we've been talking about. Buy local, support local, be local. And we really want to see people be able to support our local businesses in a lot of different ways. And that also brings us to new opportunities. What are we going to do coming out of this pandemic to make sure that we have PPE here? How are we going to change manufacturing here? How are we going to create business opportunities and new technologies to be able to meet what I believe will not be the last pandemic, but the first of many that we're going to face as we move forward?
Kind of sad to think of it that way, but so true, right?
It is, and we're in this new environment. Even the experts around the world say, yes, we've been talking about this for years and years and years and getting people prepared for it. I just think that we relaxed in regards to really understanding that it's amazing with world travel and the way that the world is open to every corner of the world, that these things can travel quite rapidly. And we're still seeing it south of the border, where it is moving quite rapidly. But I think that also brings us into a place of new things that are happening. Think about our workplaces. 40% of the workforce was working from home through the early days of the pandemic. even with us going into stage 3 and people getting back to some type of new normal, many businesses and offices aren't going back to full staff until probably 2021. But there's an estimate that 25% of the people will not be returning to their place of work, but will be working from home. How many years did we talk about working from home and what that would look like? So this pandemic, as bad as it has been, has also forced us to look at our environment. It's also got us to focus on what's really important in our lives, our family, our friends, our community. And it's also changing the way that our economy works, and the opportunity of local is going to impact all of us. So I think this is a really interesting time out of COVID-19. Let us make sure that we learn everything we possibly can, so the next pandemic that comes, that we're well prepared, well equipped, and well able to address it in an expedited way.
So I have to ask you, Durham municipalities are going to get over $37 million in emergency COVID-19 funding. What will Oshawa's share of that recent announcement be, and how are you going to use it?
So it's phase 1. Phase 1 funding was allocated to the city of Oshawa. We got a letter from Minister Clark, I think it was last Friday, that allocated $4,012,930. It is specifically used in regards to COVID-related cost or lost revenue aspects. We're waiting for the agreement to come from the provincial government, but it will be specific in regards to making sure that we address the issues that we had to encounter with COVID-19. As you know, the great city of Oshawa, we acted very early and very aggressively in regards to cost containment. But that also only took a portion of how it impacted our revenue numbers. On the other side of it is, we lost a lot of revenue because there's not the festivals, there's not the tournaments, there's not the use of our recreational facilities. So we'll be working with our finance department to make sure that those COVID dollars are allocated specifically in regards to the impact it's had on our services here locally. Our ultimate goal is to make sure that the impact on our local taxpayers is the minimum amount. And we're about to go into budget discussions now in September, October, November, and then pass the budget in December. So we want to make sure that the impact of COVID-19 related costs, lost revenues, make sure that the impact on the local taxpayers is as small as possible. That's what we've always looked at. I'm a social conservative when it comes to finances, and I'm very much about paying debt down, building our reserves, and making sure that we're responsible for all tax dollars.
Is that $4 million enough, or are you still looking at a potential deficit to work around?
This is phase 1. Phase 2, we don't know what that'll happen. We've estimated to December 31st. We're hoping that $4 million will make sure that gap in between lost revenue and loss and costs are balanced. And we don't know that answer right now, but we feel confident that because of the cost containment issues that we did early in the pandemic, that we truly believe that this is part of the solution, and we hope that, like I say, that it'll cover all of our losses, but we're going to have to wait till December 31st to find out exactly where we are.
Let's talk about the private security firm
Sure.
that the city has contracted to patrol downtown, and an update. How has it been working?
So the contract went into place on July the 1st, 2020. It's for a 3-month contract. First, I've got to clarify something. One is we've always had security in the downtown core. We've had it for 15 years. This particular company was hired from the savings that we had in our security budget. So it wasn't extra dollars that were spent. It was part of our allocation of security dollars that were necessary. But what we did find from COVID-19 is we found that we had a lot of individuals that were coming from across the province into our community that were unsheltered. Many of them were suffering with addiction and mental health. And we saw the criminal element really rise since March. And we've been working with Durham Regional Police and our social agencies, not only to be able to meet the needs of those individuals that are unsheltered, that absolutely need help. And some wonderful things have happened. We've got a hub in downtown called Mission United. We've got, of course, the IOTC program up at Camp Samak. It's been a huge success. housing over 50 individuals. We've got our outreach programs, Welcoming Streets, and the Hep C team, our On Point team, our Spirit of Service. We've got a lot of great things in the PCOP program that have happened. But we needed this extra attention in the downtown core based upon individuals that were coming from outside that were victimizing those individuals that were suffering with either addiction, mental health, or being unsheltered. And it was their role is to be able to help individuals navigate the system so that when they find them through the night, I have a great belief. I do not want anybody sleeping on the streets, because we've got a bed for you, and we'll make sure that that bed is available. I find it unacceptable that anybody dies on our streets, and they have specialized training in regards to medical emergency training. And number three is they have worked with our outreach teams for over a year and a half now in regards to knowing what services are available. This is an extra layer of service that we're trying to provide not only for our community, but also for those that are suffering in our community. But I want to say this, Durham Regional Police knows this, and I've been working very closely with them. Unlawful behavior in our city, you deal your poison in our city, you break into businesses, you terrorize people, you take over private spaces, you disrespect our city, we will hold you accountable. We understand people are suffering with mental illness and addiction. I will go to the nth degree to help anyone that is suffering with that. If you're unsheltered, I'll find space for you. You break the law, we will hold you accountable. It's not fair. Being part of being a citizen of this great city is we have laws and bylaws, and all of us have to abide by those laws and bylaws. And working with Durham Regional Police, the security services that we've had in place for over 15 years now makes our community safer, and that's what I'm committed to.
What was the attraction? Why did these people come from other areas to Oshawa?
I think one, Deb, is that I was in the city of Toronto last week to go see the Van Gogh exhibit, by the way, and it was fantastic. And Toronto, of course, as you know, has over 10,000 people in shelters right now, and they have over 5,000 people living on their streets, to my understanding. People all across the country are migrating to different places where they can get services. And that's what we've found is we've got great organizations such as the Backdoor Mission. We've got Cornerstone. We've got the Denise House. We've got Gate 316. We have the Refuge. We have the faith community that it's working. We have a lot of services that are available here in the great city of Oshawa. They're not available in other parts of Durham region. So we find that we get the influx of individuals here. What we are doing, and you probably heard about it, is we have made a commitment through regional government to spend $15 million to build 70 micro and modular homes across the region of Durham to help people be put in supportive environments, supportive housing, so that we can move them into the right pathway of treatment. So I'm really pleased about those things. But it just seems that the city of Oshawa has had a history of over 100 years of generosity, kindness, compassion, and service, that they find themselves migrating to Oshawa because we have the services. They're not the same as services that are available in the other 8 municipalities in Durham region.
So the contract then will be up July, August, September, October. Will it be renewed?
It'll be over in September. Then we'll do a full evaluation in regards to the services there. There's a requirement that there's a report that'll come back to council. This was a council decision. Council made a decision that they felt that it was the right thing to do. We have had security in the downtown for 15 years. We believe that the public safety is the most important thing. You have to feel safe walking on our streets, our parks, our pathways, our trails. Our bylaw officers do a great job in regards to their skills, abilities, and training. In this circumstance, with the complexities of what's happened over the last 6 months, this was a necessary step to make sure that our community continues to serve those that need to be served and helped, and those that are here to be able to victimize individuals that find themselves broken. They need to be held accountable.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. We need to go for a quick break. More after this.
I'm Chef Corey Durham, host of Cooking with Corey. Join me this season where we make amazing dishes like Thai basil chicken, Peking tofu, wraps Vietnamese style, even Mediterranean salad with cauliflower fritters, just to name a couple of things. We've got some amazing guests, amazing recipes, and we're going to show you not just what to cook, but how to cook here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to your COVID-19 local update. I'm Deborah Hutchison in the Rogers TV studio. Our guest this week is Oshawa Mayor Dan Carter. We are in phase 3. We are still talking COVID-19 here, and slowly but surely, the wheels are beginning to turn again, and you are opening up Oshawa City Hall, but by appointment only. Correct?
Yeah, everything that we're doing, Deb, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but everything that we're doing is in a phased approach. Health, safety, and well-being of our visitors, our staff, and our residents are the number one issue. So we're doing everything very slowly. We're making sure that we've got all the protocols in place, making sure that everybody is safe coming into our buildings. You'll go through a screening process like I would imagine you would down at the Rogers studio or at regional headquarters if you end up there. It's part of the process that we put in place to make sure that everybody is safe. But we're slowly implementing phase 3 here at City Hall. Yes, the building is open by appointment, and we're going to keep on adjusting our plan as events unfold. And we're hoping that the numbers continue to be good in Durham region and also Ontario. But you'll notice 40% of the new cases that are COVID related are people under the age of 40 now, which is a huge shift from what it was in March, April, and May.
Yeah, that's concerning. And I think there is a lot of, trepidation. Parents, people are worried about what's going to happen when the schools return.
Yeah, and I don't know how it's going to work. I know that educators are trying to make sure that their voice is being heard. I know the government is trying to make sure that they come up with a plan. I know parents are concerned about it. I'm not really sure how it's going to work. I'm hoping that through the process they keep on working through it to figure out what works and what doesn't work. The reality being is kids need to be around kids. And that's part of their development, especially in their early years. So I understand that, that's a really important part. But the bottom line is we've got to make sure that everybody is healthy and safe in regards to COVID-19. We still don't know enough about COVID-19. We still don't have a vaccine. We don't even have a successful kind of treatment medication at this particular time. So I'm cautioning everybody. I know your patience is thin. I know this has been uncomfortable. I know it's hurt you financially. I know that it's been uncomfortable. But you know what? Let's continue to be vigilant in regards to doing the right things. And if we are, we will be successful going into 2021.
Yeah, we don't want to end up like the U.S. That is for sure.
Not at all.
So even though COVID has had an effect, of course, on our economy, there is so much happening in downtown Oshawa. Let's talk about the development at King and Simcoe.
Well, I mean, King and Simcoe is really, really exciting. This is on the southwest corner from Avanti's on the east side, and then to the south, almost down to Print 3. That whole corner was bought by, it's called Big 3, I think, Developments, and it's Alexa Kaufman that has Lev 2 Square, which is another company in town. She's been very aggressive in regards to helping us redevelop the downtown. She's doing a huge brand new development right at the corner of King and Simcoe. If you get a chance, drive by. You've got to see the hoarding that's being put up there. A local artist did a fantastic job on it, but that's going to bring a lot of jobs and commerce there. I'm not at liberty to tell you who their tenant is, but it's really big news. We also have some big news that'll be coming out of the old music hall on King Street, and that'll be announced probably in the next couple of weeks. Then, of course, everybody heard about the new music hall being built on Bond Street, so that's great news. Deb, even through COVID-19, the city of Oshawa has issued more permits and had more economic activity in regards to development of not only residential homes, but industrial, commercial, and educational facilities in the city of Oshawa. We're on a record pace right at this particular time.
Does that surprise you, Dan?
Hey?
Does that surprise you?
It really does.
Because it does me.
It surprised me tremendously, because you would think that everything's slowed down. But one of the things we did right from day one with COVID is our building department, our engineering, our planning department, all those were happening at the same time. Our inspectors were out there doing their job. And what happened was it kept everything moving forward. We're close to $400 million in building permits already. And there is a possibility we may set an all-term historical record in regards to investment in our community. So that's huge. If you look at Bond and Mary, there's a 375 unit, 21 stories, 3-story underground parking that is being built as we speak, 2 cranes there. And you start seeing all of these wonderful things that are starting to happen. People reinvesting in our community, bringing local jobs up. You can see the optimism in our community, and I'm just really excited. And the last thing I just want to say is the old RBC building at Simcoe and Bond is going to be a St. Lawrence market starting up this fall. And it will actually have a restaurant inside that old building that people can enjoy fresh foods. And imagine that. Field to fork is such an important part of our economy now. And we've got a huge agricultural community right here in Durham region. This is a wonderful opportunity for the city of Oshawa. I can't wait for this to happen. And that's Alexa Kaufman again. She's investing in our city. Her company believes in our city, and they believe that we are at the very beginning of greatness. And of course, our streetscape project will be completed in the next couple of weeks on King Street. So that's exciting at the same time. Okay,
I also want to talk about the Oshawa Gens.
Sure.
Gens owner Rocco Tullio says he's shopping for a new home. Your reaction?
Well, I'm saddened by that statement. Of course, we've got 85 years of history with the Oshawa Generals. Mr. Tullio came to us about a year and a half, almost 2 years now, when I first was sworn in as the mayor of the great city of Oshawa. I had said that they were looking at the financial aspects of the impact on the organization. We have 10 years left on the agreement with them at this particular time. Council made a decision to be able to kind of undertake an environmental scan about where they were financially. They're number 3 in attendance, number 3, I believe, in revenue. But the imbalance of what other OHL teams were playing and what we were playing, Mr. Tullio brought it to our attention and said, we just can't operate this way. So the one request that he brought to us about 18, 20 months ago was that he needed some financial concessions to be able to make sure that the franchise could be able to continue for the next 35 years. We undertook that exercise, and council approved and realized that after doing an environmental scan that took us about a year, by the way, that we found that it was much, much higher than the other OHL teams. So we brought it into line to be able to help the Oshawa General organization out. To our disappointment, Mr. Tullio then came back and asked for additional items that council took under consideration, but were just not able to accommodate. And then, of course, you've seen the headlines that say that he's looking at other municipalities to relocate the Oshawa Generals. I'll say this, the Oshawa Generals are the Oshawa Generals. They're not the Brampton Generals. They're not the Pickering Generals. They're not the Ajax Generals. They're not the Scugog Generals. They are the Oshawa Generals. 85 years of great history here. We have a world-class facility that this council in this city has built for them. This is a world-class facility that is like brand new, and we will continue to work with the Oshawa Generals to be able to address the issues that they're concerned about, and we will continue to fight to make sure that we have another 85 years of history. And I think that the community expects us to be very active with making sure our partnership continues to grow with the Oshawa Generals. And as you know, Deb, the city has put over $350,000 on the table to be able to help attract the Memorial Cup for next year. The region has put $250,000 on the table. So you can tell that we are fully committed in regards to the hockey history right here in the city of Oshawa.
Now, while we haven't spoken with Mr. Tullio, he is quoted in the local media as saying that he needs more room. And part of that room is the Oshawa Sports Hall of Fame.
The Sports Hall of Fame, and he needs extra room to be able to get offices. We've offered him space in, a close proximity to the TCC, about 500 yards away. The Sports Hall of Fame has played a significant role in our community. The Sports Hall of Fame was located in the Civic Auditorium. That Sports Hall of Fame was specifically designed for the TCC, and it was promised to the Sports Hall of Fame. This is about celebrating 100 years of history of coaches, volunteers, trainers, parents, athletes that have contributed to the great sporting history in our community. I spoke with the Oshawa Sports Hall of Fame, asked them if there would be an interest, if they would like to relocate somewhere else. They believe that it's important that they're part of the TCC and the world-class facility that's there. We respect that. We told Mr. Tullio that that was not possible, but we would be more than willing to look at space allocation to be able to meet his needs. And he felt that that was a non-starter. So we believe we've been very fair. We'll continue to work with Mr. Tullio. We'll continue to work with the Oshawa Generals to be able to find a resolution. And I'm confident that we will have them here for another 85 years.
Also, some very sad news this week. Dale Hawerchuk has passed away.
Yeah, 57 years old, a gifted athlete, a father, a leader, of course, longtime coach of the Barrie Colts. Huge sporting history here. And of course, you know that we've named a new park after Dale Hawerchuk because of his contribution into the city all the way throughout his career, but always remembering Oshawa was his home. But, you know, my heart sinks for his family right now. He's 57 years old, a courageous battle with cancer, contributed greatly not only to the sporting community, but also to his family and his community. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. And what a loss for our community. Here is a world-class individual. And it's not just about what you do on the ice. It's how you conduct yourself, how you invest in people, how you lead people, how you lift people. And Dale did that throughout his whole career. And it just saddens me that we lose individuals with such wonderful contributions to our community at such a young age. 57 years old is so young. And I know that our thoughts and prayers are with his family right now.
So you are naming a park after after Dale. Where is this park?
It's right in the Donovan new community that is being built, and that's pretty significant, and we're really pleased about that on Harmony Road. And we've worked with his family prior to, of course, us even understanding that he was battling cancer at the time. We felt that it was a great way of being able to honor him. And it wasn't until later that we found out he was also battling cancer. And then, of course, earlier this week, we found out how severe it was. And then, of course, sadly, on Tuesday, we got the announcement that he had passed. And it just broke our hearts because, like I say, individuals that have given us so much are gone way too early.
Okay. And on that, Mayor Dan, I'm going to have to let you go. We are out of time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Deb. All the best to you and the group down at Rogers and all your viewers. Stay well, stay optimistic, and wear a mask everywhere, please.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you, we may be tired of the virus, but it's not tired of us.
That's right.
And on that, thanks to all of you for joining us this week. Until next time, I'm Deborah Hutchison. Stay safe, everyone.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
My husband is a wonderful man and a great father when he's not drinking. I'm so angry he chooses alcohol over us. If he really